Similar fears have been voiced by media associations. Hong Kong Free Press is an independent news website that was launched in 2015 amid worries about shrinking press freedom.
I don't think there will be any immediate sort of changes or exercising of this law when it kicks in, because there's been such a chorus of criticism. But I would not be surprised in the years to come if it wasn't used in a very broad and draconian way, and that is what worries us as journalists and many other sectors in Hong Kong.
As protesters gathered on Sunday, it quickly became clear their hopes for a large turnout had been met. If organizers' estimates that they numbered 1 million are correct, it would be the biggest demonstration here for 30 years.
And joining us from Hong Kong is Tom Grundy, editor-in-chief of Hong Kong Free Press, who we just saw in that report. Hello, Tom. The chief executive there in Hong Kong, Carrie Lam, she says that the government will not withdraw the bill. Can this bill still be stopped?
Well, you would think in perhaps any other city, a 1 million-man march would trigger some concessions from the government. If that figure's correct, that's 14% of the population. But as we just saw, in the last hour or two, Chief Executive Carrie Lam, for whom protesters were asking to stand down, has basically stood firm and has said that there will be no further concessions. Some were made earlier for the business community over certain white-collar crimes. But it seems that this bill will arrive at the main legislative chamber on Wednesday, just after a Q&A with Lam, and it could be a matter of weeks as this is pushed through in an accelerated process through the legislature ahead of the summer break.
What can you tell us, Tom, about the clashes between police and protesters overnight? Apparently, those protests turned violent.
Yeah, we had frontline reporters down there overnight. As the police permits expired, they moved quickly to clear protesters around the rear of the legislature and the government headquarters. There were some quite hairy scenes, and pepper spray was deployed as protesters were attempting to build barricades in a repeat of some of the more violent scenes of the umbrella movement in 2014. Over 300 people were ID'd by police, and by about 6 a.m. Roads were cleared. The police commissioner, Stephen Lowe, and Chief Executive Carrie Lam have condemned the violence and are investigating people concerned. But otherwise, yesterday's historic protest, possibly the largest in Hong Kong history, went through very peacefully.
So where does this go from here, Tom? What can we expect in the days and weeks to come?
Well, we've just heard in the last few minutes that there's going to be another protest outside the legislature on Wednesday. There's also been calls for labour strikes. We've seen just a few small businesses commit to that so far. We've seen petitions, hundreds of petitions, in fact. Some groups, some conservative and pro-establishment, some business groups, even lawyers, journalists and judges speak out on this. So some sectors who wouldn't normally speak out or aren't really allowed to have been condemning this, but many see this as simply the latest incursion of China into Hong Kong, and it's unclear if there's going to be any further concessions at this point.
Tom, thank you very much. Tom Grundy there of Hong Kong Free Press. Thanks, Tom.